today we're down on Paddy Beach, and what a better place to do the interview for this particular subject as we catch up with our old friend Paul Patterson. Now, Paul, nice to see you again, mate.
And you?
We spoke to you, what, was it in November or December last year? When was it?
I think it was November.
Right,
I think it was November.
Now, that was when you'd done all this dramatic weight loss, and you lost how many kilos?
40.
40 kilos. Oh, goodness. And you raised a ton of money, didn't you? How much did you raise?
257,000.
Wow. Okay. And you did. So how did you? Just remind our viewers? How did you actually lose the weight?
A lot of exercise, a lot of walking, and sort of low carb kind of diet.
Okay. And did you cut down on the drink?
Yes.
And the thing is, that's a bit of a challenge for you because you're the manager of Club Misty's, right?
Correct.
So
correct.
That's part of your job is to drink, be sociable, and entertain the troops, sort of thing.
It's not the best sort of lifestyle to have when you're trying to lose weight, for sure. All
right. So you lost 40 kilos. You raised over $250,000.
Yeah.
And you gave that money to the Chameleon Social Centre in Rayong.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I started on the diet, just a strict low carb diet. Lost weight, wasn't losing it as quickly as I would like, so I decided I need to get some exercise. Started doing a little bit of walking, gradually increased the walking, and then one day, passing exactly where we stood now, I saw an advert for the Patterson Marathon and the Patterson Half Marathon. And I thought, why not put the exercise to some good use? And that's how I ended up raising the money for the Chameleon Centre. Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Chameleon Centre. Why did you choose them, and what is it they do that sort of shouts out to you?
Oh, I looked around. I wanted a deserving cause, and of course, being in Thailand or anywhere for that matter, there are a lot of them. I just felt that with the Chameleon Centre, being outside of Pattaya, I mean, I used to support the Pattaya Orphanage, and that's a very, very good cause as well. But I just felt being that much out further out, they don't quite attract the same publicity as the Chameleon Centre. I made some inquiries. I got in touch with Paul at the centre, asked him some questions. He gave me some very good answers, and that's when I made the choice. I've obviously been to the centre a number of times now. Very keen on supporting the work they do. A number of my friends have also been to the centre. And we just feel it's a good cause to support.
Okay. All right, so that spurred you on because now essentially you'd lost all the weight, so you were pretty fit and healthy, and walking wasn't the challenge that it was before.
Absolutely.
So then you came up with this idea of doing your February fundraiser, which is why we're here on the walk here at the beach, right?
Yeah, when I handed over the money for the half marathon to the centre, I was chatting to Paul, and I sort of said, very tongue-in-cheek, I said, maybe next time I'll walk from Pattaya to the centre. And we sort of laughed and joked about it, and I said, how far is it? And he looked at it and said, well, it was probably about 50 kilometres. And then just spur of the moment, because I actually started the whole sort of weight loss fitness regime on my last birthday, or the previous birthday when I was 49. And I just came up with this idea, well, what about trying to do 50 kilometres for 50 years? And birthday's in February. So that's basically what happened. I done the 50 kilometres on the 23rd of February and celebrated my 50th birthday on the 26th of February.
Okay. And of course the whole idea was you knew that if you didn't lose this weight, the thing that was nagging in the back of your mind is, will you hit 50?
Absolutely correct. Correct. I mean, I put on a lot of weight. As we were saying earlier on, lifestyle, drinking too much, eating the wrong things at the wrong times. I mean, just a whole catalogue of doing everything in the book that's wrong. I was probably got most of the ticks in most of the boxes. Yeah.
So in the end, what you ended up doing was the 50 kilometres, but along here, as opposed to walking from here down to Rayong.
Yeah,
because you had
we
more
looked
people.
At the route. Well, there was more spectator opportunity up and down Beach Road, more fundraising opportunity up and down Beach Road, and also trying to find a safe, practical route from Pattaya to the centre. And Paul from the centre and I looked at it and discussed it, and to be honest with you, we ruled it out pretty early on because it just wasn't a practical route to choose. Right. So then I hit upon the idea of Beach Road for reasons you've suggested. Okay. A lot easier to attract support and spectators along on Beach Road. Mm-hmm. If you say you're going to be between point A and point B between 6 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, it's a lot easier for people to find you.
Okay. So basically, you walk from the Thai Airways office, which is at the very end of the north here, right, just up beside the Dusitani, all the way down, sort of into Walking Street, correct?
Yeah, Soy's Rolling Stone 2 Bar are also big supporters of the Chameleon Centre. They were kind enough to allow us to use that as a start-finish line, so we could have ice and cold wipes and water and the like. So that was, I'd like to thank them. Which is, to say, Soy 17 Walking Street up to the Thai Air office, as you say, by Mantra, that kind of area.
Okay. So when you did this, did you get? I mean, we'll talk about your sponsors, but did you get a lot of support when you were doing it? Did other people join in the walk as well, or they come along for some of it?
A number of people came along and joined in part of the walk, but I have a very, very special thank you to a guy called Phil, who's the manager at Secrets, who managed to complete the whole route along with me, and that I'd put in weeks, months of training. He walked backwards and forwards a couple of times, but what he done was phenomenal, and I owe him a lot of thanks for keeping me company along the way. It made my job a hell of a lot easier. When the sun was high in the sky, and it did feel a bit lonely on occasion, but with Phil next to me, we didn't do a lot of talking, but it was just nice to have the company along, so I'm very, very grateful to him.
So to do the 50 clicks then, how many times was that up and down?
It was 7.5 times, so 7 complete return legs, and then up as far as Central and back again. Okay. So it's 7.5.
Okay, and then a few cold beers at Rolling Stone too, I would imagine.
Well, I'm off the beer now, as you know, but a couple of vodkas and soda, yes, we're courtesy of Paul. I had a very large vodka and soda within a couple of minutes of finishing, which went down very well.
All right, so let's talk, because I see you've got NMT, which is Colin Ward, right? And he was one of your sponsors for the first one.
He was the NMT and Colin were the principal sponsors, along with Sapphire, Misty's, who very kindly gave me 2 weeks off on full pay to actually prepare. So I owe Andy at Misty a very big thank you, and obviously a number of individuals. Too many to name. Rolling Stone, as I say, for allowing us to use the bar as a start-finish refreshment point, and the many kind individuals out there that have given many different sums. Okay,
so let's talk about the money, because I know there's still some money coming in, and this is always the nature of sponsoring, isn't it? It's always things coming a little bit late, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure it will come in time. But where are we at the moment?
As of an hour or so ago when I left home, 182,700 something baht. And there's some sealed collection boxes out and about as well, which we won't know what's in those until they're back at the centre to be opened.
Okay. So, and again, this money's going to go to the Chameleon Centre Rayong, right? Yeah. When are you hoping to do the handover there?
As soon as I can get the money in, I want to hand it over to the centre so they can start putting it to good use. But I estimate in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, Paul, it's great to catch up with you again, and it's great work. It's very interesting in a sense what you've done. You basically you've had a sort of change of heart and in your mind and saying, right, let's get fit, let's get healthy, and to raise all this money. So I mean, you're looking at probably altogether about 470,000.
Yep, that kind of figure.
It's like £10,000 in old money.
Yeah.
And the Chameleon Centre Rayong, it's worth just telling our viewers that they specialise there. The thing that they really do is look after children with HIV and AIDS, isn't it?
Yeah, they have many different projects, but yeah, that's the one, if you like, for want of a better expression, that's the one that caught my eye.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating place, and the work they do there is just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Okay. Well, it's incredible work that you're doing, and thanks to the sponsors, but also to all the numerous people who've been, chipping in. And I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they put in 100 baht or
absolutely
10,000.
Correct. I've always said that. People say, people have asked me, well, how much do you want, or how much other people putting in, and I said exactly what you've just said. Every single baht counts. Some people, their budgets allow them to, maybe donate a little bit more than others. But it's everybody's contribution is important as one another's. There's no special contributors, if you like. Every baht counts.
Well, I interviewed a doctor here in Pattaya who looks after people with HIV, and we'd made a donation to him And I said to him, well, you know, it seems to me that we should be doing more. And he said, no, he said, if everybody just did a little bit, he said that there wouldn't be any problems.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You know, that's how I've managed to achieve the sums that I've achieved. Yes, it's nice to have Colin and an NMT giving you a sort of a foundation upon which to build, but it's all the many other individuals that have, you know, there's some girls in Misties that have chucked in 20, 30 bar, 100 bar, you know, all those amounts over a period of time, they all add up and they all count towards the overall total.
All right. Well, it's great work, Paul, and I don't know what's next then. What's your...
Hopefully, hopefully the full marathon in July, that's my plan. After that, if I can find somebody out there that's prepared to put up the money, then I'm going to try and do 100k within 24 hours.
Wow.
But I'm going to be looking for some sort of serious corporate sort of sponsorship to be able to do that. But that's my hope, that's my aim anyway.
All right. Well, there you go. A great guy doing great things for the community and especially for the Chameleon Centre in Rayong. If you're interested in getting involved with what Paul does, or perhaps even joining him on one of these marathon walks, or indeed the marathon, just pop into Club Misties just off of Walking Street. It's right just off Walking Street.
Sorry, 15 Walking Street, yep.
Go in and see him. You'll get a flavour for the kind of guy he is. You might have to buy him a gin and tonic, right?
Vodka and soda.
Vodka soda. But you get a flavour for the kind of guy he is. And perhaps this interview today will give you an idea of something maybe that you could do to help the community and actually maybe save yourself in the process. Paul, nice to see you again, mate.
Many thanks.
Thanks so much.
Many thanks.
See you again. Bye-bye.